Hello everyone, Katarina here. I have another Christmas card for you. This is the card I'm gonna be making. I used a digital stamp, I did a simple coloring, and I also created the background. The digital stamp I bought through Etsy from the shop Joe Kavanagh Designs. I will leave the link to it in the description. The stamp set contains multiple versions of a very cute bear. I picked this one and I printed two on an A6 size cardstock, and I also printed two greetings. Simple Merry Christmas. For the coloring, I wanted to use something I haven't used for Christmas cards yet this year. I picked these watercolor pencils from Lidl. I first thought I will use normal coloring pencils, but the coloring usually takes longer. I wanted the coloring to be quicker. Alcohol markers would be great, but I don't have a brown. Watercolor pens would be also an option, but I used them already on my first Christmas card. There are a few ways you can use watercolor pencils. Here I was using them pretty much the same way as I would use normal coloring pencils. I started with a light base layer using a light brown. To be honest, these pencils are not very pigmented, they are very light. I guess the more expensive brands, those are way more pigmented. But these are budget-friendly watercolor pencils, so I'm not complaining. I actually have a video where I reviewed those pencils. Next, I used darker brown. I applied it around the areas where I thought a shade would be. And then I used the lighter brown and I applied second coat with more pressure and I faded it out towards the middle. Then I took my water brush pen, you can also use a normal brush and water, and I went over the colored area, which activates the pigment. You want to start from the lighter shade towards the darker shade, so you don't contaminate the colors. If you want to add more pigment to your painting, you either wait until the piece is fully dry and then you use your pencil, or you can use your brush and pick the color directly from the pencil. That's what I've done here. And the way I colored this part of the bear, I repeated on the rest of the bear. When I color, I like to keep it very simple. Most of the time, I don't care about the light source. All I'm interested in is to create a depth, so the image is not flat. I'm pretty much creating an ombre effect. And depending on how pigmented your pencils are, you could achieve this with just one pencil. Also, I forgot to mention I'm using here the Bristol cardstock. At least with these pencils, I wasn't a huge fan. I would say hot press, not cold press. Watercolor cardstock would be a better option. Hot press is smooth, while cold press has a texture. But you can definitely try the Bristol cardstock as well. I will speed up the video to show you the whole coloring. I think it's quite straightforward, but if you have any questions, just ask in the comments. the coloring with the watercolor pencils is done, I thought for the ribbons on the presents, it would be fun to use gel pens. I have a set also from Lidl. And I picked a few colors and I colored the ribbons as well as the stars on the parcel. Next, I fussy cut the bear using my scissors. This is just like you would do with a stamped image. So the bear is done. Next, I created the background. I was inspired by this card from Laura Volpes. Technically, this inspired the whole card, because what else you do with such a bold background? A focal point, a greeting, and that's it. She used a stencil that looks like Christmas candy, which I don't have. So I painted the background myself using watercolors. I first sketched it out, and even though this is a quite simple pattern, just curved lines, I did a lot of erasing and redrawing, because I needed to have an even number of those parts. Originally, I thought I will use a normal turquoise watercolor, but as I was reaching for my watercolors, I saw my metallic watercolor set. And I thought the blue will be fantastic for this. This card is for my husband, by the way. So I painted the background using these metallic watercolors, filling every other space. To finish up the background panel, I trimmed the cardstock and I also painted the edges using the same blue metallic paint. And then I adhered it on top of a white card base using a liquid glue. I adhered the bear on top. Here I used a foam tape, so it's a little bit raised. The same for the greeting. The greeting is the one I printed out. So here is the finished card. It is a very simple card, the typical design, a background with a pattern and a focal point. And you can use any stamp set that you already have. Normally, I would pick 2-3 videos that you can watch to get more inspiration, but this time I picked just one, a Christmas card with a reindeer, that I colored with the normal coloring pencils, which I originally planned for this card. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.